Hello, Rabbi.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Well, thanks, and you?
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
Trying to set up the screen sharing.
Your face is dark, Rabbi.
I'll close the curtains in a moment. I don't know, this keeps happening with my screen. It goes wonky now and then. I don't know why.
Yeah, I've stopped my video because it was jumping around.
Okay.
We've seem to have a Wi-Fi problem here as well. And there's load shedding.
Well, thank God I have an inverter now, so I'm not affected by load shedding. My computer still works. My Wi-Fi still works. I just can't use my appliances.
Yes. We're waiting for ours to be received and installed.
So I'm going to try and buy a gas stove one of these days.
Hello, Jeff.
Yeah. You well?
Okay. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Rabbi. How are you?
Hello, Mark.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Mark.
It's exactly 1 o'clock on my watch, so let's give it a minute. If anyone else is coming. Hello, Kent. Afternoon, Kent. Okay. Right. Everybody hear me?
Yep.
So I apologize. I don't know what's going on there with my screen, why I'm wonky like that. Last few times I've done it, it starts and stops. Now it's okay. Okay, it's a very short chapter. This is the shortest chapter I've ever done with you guys. A grand total of 5 halachas. So don't blink, you may miss it. Right, so it's continuing the laws of witnesses. So, you know, we we follow court cases and Zando Commission and sometimes the witness, the guy on the witness stand or the defendant, they don't plead the Fifth Amendment. They just say they can't remember, which either they do or they don't. But it's a bit of an excuse. Let me just close the curtain. Okay, I think you can probably see me better now.
Yeah,
Right.
much
So,
better.
Misha Chosam al Ashtar. If somebody signed on a promissory note, okay, an IOU, Yankel owes Berel 100,000 rand, and there are two witnesses, Chaim and Shmerel. And what happens? Comes to the Bezdin, because the borrower has not made good, has not paid his debt. So the lender goes to the Bezdin and he shows them he's got this document. And in the document, Berel and Shmerel or whoever are the witnesses. So they call Berel and Shmerel to come to the Bezdin. And he recognized, yeah, that's definitely my signature. Nobody else can sign that. I've got my unique signature, and that's me, for sure. But to tell you the truth, I don't recall signing this. I don't recall being a witness at the time of a loan between Mr. A and Mr. B. I really can't recall. In such a case, says the Rambam, it is forbidden for him to testify with regard to his signature in court. And listen to the logic here. It's such a good argument. For a person is not testifying about his signature. He's testifying about the money mentioned in this document, that the one is supposedly obligated to the other. And if he cannot remember that the one ever became obligated, so what is the point of his testimony? The signature serves merely to remind him of the matter. If he doesn't remember it, he may not testify. So, I don't know, maybe as we get older, we have senior moments and we forget things. People have asked me not so long ago about something that happened a long time ago, and I really have no recollection whatsoever. I didn't sign anything, but here's a case where a guy signed. He said, yeah, that's definitely my signature. I could tell it a mile away, that's me. But to be honest, I have no clue. I don't remember such a case. So I don't know. So today, in the age of Photoshops, they could have forged the signature quite easily. So the point is that just to say, yes, that's my signature is not good enough. He has to be able to say that he remembers what it says that he's signing about, that A owes B. Otherwise, just to say it's a signature is not good enough. 2, whether a person remembers his testimony at the outset, remembers it after seeing his signature, or remembers it after being reminded by others. Even if he's reminded by the other witness, if he in truth remembers, then he may testify. If, however, it is the plaintiff who reminds him, he may not testify, for it appears to the litigant that he is testifying falsely about a matter which he does not know. So he comes along, is this your signature? Yeah, my signature for sure, unmistakable. Because do you remember this event where A borrowed money from B or whatever it was? He says, not really. Excuse me. Then the other witness, his friend, says, what do you mean you don't remember? Don't you recall it was over there and this hotel on this and this date, we were having drinks or whatever, you know. Yeah, oh, Taka, yeah, okay, now I remember, yeah. So that's quite plausible and believable that a person would not remember something, and then someone reminds him some of the details of the event, and then suddenly the penny drops and he twigs. Yeah. So that's kosher. So we say, okay, initially he didn't remember, and now he was reminded and he remembers. Yes, okay, fine. So he's believed to testify that it happened. But if it was the plaintiff, the guy who's claiming the money, if he was the one who started prodding his memory, then that would not be acceptable. 3, accordingly, the plaintiff was a Torah scholar, and the plaintiff reminded the matter, he may testify. Aha. Sorry for this video. I don't know what's going on. It started happening lately, and I'm not sure what to do about it. It'll go away after a while. It comes and goes. If anybody has any suggestions, you can let me know after the share. So here's an interesting one, that the halacha is different if the plaintiff is a Talmud Chacham, meaning a righteous, upstanding scholar, someone who we could believe as a credible religious Jew, Torah scholar who would not lie. So here, normally, if the plaintiff is prodding the memory of the witness, we don't accept it. But if the plaintiff happens to be a Torah scholar, then he may testify. The rationale is that a Torah scholar knows that if the witness did not remember the matter, he would not testify. This is a leniency which was granted with regard to cases involving financial law. Even though a witness forgot a matter for many years and it was the written record that reminded him, he may testify. So sometimes it could be it's an event that happened years and years ago. In Torah law, I don't think there's any concept of prescription. In secular law, I think it's 3 years?
12 years.
I actually have a case now where somebody reneged on a deal and they may get away with it simply because COVID interfered. And during COVID, 2 years of nothing happening, so now it's prescribed. Don't know if they'll get a leniency for the courts to say that they'll deduct the 2 years of COVID. I don't know. Remains to be seen. But in Torah law, I'm not aware of any law of prescription. If a person has a debt, the debt never becomes prescribed. So it could be that he's being called to testify in a case that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. So in such a case, Itaka doesn't remember, and he could be forgiven for not remembering. I was in Boca Raton a couple of weeks ago for a Shabbaton, and quite a few guys came up to me. He says, "Rabbi, remember me? You married us." I said, "How many years ago was it?" "Oh, it was about 25 years ago that I married them." I said, "Right, and you haven't changed one iota since you were under the chuppah, right?" They expect me to remember them, you know? So anyway, and I haven't had any contact with them for all these years. So it's possible that you forget, but it's also possible you could be reminded and then you remember. So if the plaintiff, normally we don't accept that he should be the one who's doing the reminding. But if he's a Torah scholar, we would accept it. 4. Since this is true, the following law applies when a legal document is presented to the court and the witnesses come and say, "These are our signatures, but we never knew anything about this matter. We do not remember this person borrowed anything from the other or sold anything to him. We have no recollection of signing this document." Is it our signatures? Definitely, it's our signatures without a shadow of a doubt. But do we remember this event? I'm afraid not. This legal document is not validated. the witnesses are considered the same as if they would be deaf mutes who are not acceptable witnesses in Jewish law, unless they remember the testimony. So they could be reminded, but if they're reminded and they still don't remember, the signature alone will not work, as we learned. And here the Rambam adds a personal little vignette. I find it interesting and actually inspiring when the authors of the Rambam stature show a little bit of their personality. It's not just dry law. Look at the last sentence in this first paragraph in 4. Whoever does not rule in this matter, as he just said, does not know between his right hand and his left hand with regard to financial law. In Hebrew, so the Rambam is quite sharp here. He says, if you rule differently than what we just said here, then you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the difference between your right hand and your left hand. So he's very, very adamant that this is the halacha, and he's quite sharp to anybody who might say otherwise. If, however, there was other evidence of their signatures, or there were other witnesses who recognized their signatures, then we pay no attention to their statements that they do not remember the matter stated in the document. In other words, if we don't need them to verify their own signatures, then we can go along with the signatures even if they don't remember. We suspect, because some time has passed, maybe the witness has since subsequently had a faribul with the plaintiff, and he'll be happy he doesn't get his money. Or maybe he did a secret deal with the borrower that he won't. He'll say he doesn't remember, and the borrower will give him a percentage of what he would have had to give the lender. So we suspect that they may desire to retract their testimony, and they say we don't remember. Like the guys in the Zanda Commission, they say they don't remember. You and I, we know we know they remember very, very well, but it's a convenient way to get out of it. You say you don't remember. It's just as if they said we were minors or we were not acceptable kosher witnesses. Their testimony is not accepted, and the legal document is validated independent of their testimony, because in this case, there were other people who verified that this was indeed their signature. So we didn't need them to verify their signatures. And then, even if they say they don't remember, we can go ahead and use it as a valid document. For this reason, we validate all legal documents without calling the witnesses and asking them if they remember the matter or not. Even if they say we do not remember the matter, we do not heed their statement, since it is possible to validate a legal document without their testimony. So if they validate it in other ways, whether it was through other witnesses or in some other way that the signatures were validated, then we don't require these witnesses themselves to validate their signatures. Even if they say they don't remember, we will accept the document as valid. And finally, number 5. The following laws apply whether a person writes his testimony as a legal document or merely finds a note in his records in his own handwriting. So he's cleaning up for Pesach, cleaning out his drawer, and he finds a document. And in the document, it says that so-and-so had me observe testimony concerning him on this and this date with regard to these and these matters. That A borrowed money from B or something. Or I sold him something on credit and he owes him X amount. If he remembers the matter on his own initiative, or if others remind him and then prodded by their reminder he remembers, then he may testify. If not, he may not testify. he just finds a document in his building, either a document that has Rus, that has the so he finds a document that so and so, but he doesn't remember. So if he does remember or he's reminded, he may testify. If not, he may not. Situation is comparable to one in which a trustworthy person tells him so and so such and such an amount, and the listener goes and testifies that one bar from the other, although he has no first-hand knowledge of the matter, but instead merely heard from another person testify. So that's not legal. Let's say you're a rabbi who you trust implicitly, who is a righteous, virtuous man, a Torah scholar, honest as they come, and he says, do me a favor, so and so owes me money. He won't pay up. I need a witness. Won't you come? I have one witness. I need a second witness. Won't you come and testify for me on my behalf? And you trust the rabbi 100%. For sure, it's true. There's no doubt about it. But did you see the loan? No. If you're just going on the rabbi's word, that's not good enough. You cannot be a witness. You can be a witness to say, yeah, Rabbi so-and-so told me that. You cannot be a witness to say that the loan actually took place if you did not see it. Even if you trust the rabbi implicitly, you may not be a witness if you did not see it. So if you find this note in your drawer and you don't remember the event behind it, you may not testify. It's as if you heard it secondhand from somebody else, even if you trust that person. But if you have no recollection, then you may not serve as a witness. No quiz today. What happened to the quiz? Too short.
Sometimes it's missing.
Is it?
No,
Only
not
5
there.
votes. Okay, so just to summarize quickly, basically, we said if a person recognizes signature but has no recollection of the event, he may not testify. If he's reminded by anyone but the plaintiff, and then he says, yeah, now I remember, and he may testify. If it's a Torah scholar who's the plaintiff who reminds him, he may testify. And if there was evidence from others that this is their signatures and we don't need their signatures, then we will accept the document. Okay, any questions?
Thanks, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Wish you an easy fast.
And a freiliche Purim.
Thank you to you too.
So you all know what to do. Tonight and tomorrow,
Don't get too drunk.
Shalach Monas, charity to the poor, a festive meal tomorrow afternoon. Have a wonderful Purim.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks,
Dave
everyone.
says we shouldn't get too drunk. Dave says we shouldn't get too drunk, only a little drunk, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, it says, I'll just give you a quick Purim word. It says you're supposed to drink on Purim till you don't know the difference between blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. The Hebrew words Baruch Mordechai and Arur Haman have the same exact gematria, 502. How do you like that?
Very good.
Okay. Sei gesund, everybody. All the